Okay, do we remember factorizing quadratics? Sort of. So if I gave you this, how would I expand this? Do you remember the acronym? What's my acronym?
FOIL.
FOIL, good. So first, outside, inside, last. Right, we remember this? Who remembers the shortcut version? What? I heard someone say add. What do you mean by that?
Add something.
Yeah, good. So these two numbers add to the middle term and multiply to the last term, right? So the two numbers in here add to 7 and multiply to 10. So if we are doing that backwards by factorizing, what two numbers add to the middle term and multiply to the last term? 3 and 3. All right. So what that means is I can write that like this, right? Because the two brackets are 3, that is the same thing as writing it out twice. Yes? Oops, don't need to write that. Or I could just do that. Okay, you agree that these are the same thing? Yeah? Okay, this is what we call a perfect square. When the two numbers that add to the middle and multiply to the last are the same number. So this is a perfect square because the two numbers are 3 and 3, and I can write it like this. So if I have x squared plus 10x plus 20, oh geez, that worked real well. Yeah, it's my computer not working again. Plus 25, what are my two numbers here? 5 and 5. Right, what if I did this? X squared minus 12x plus 36. Minus 6, right? So they add to negative 12, but these multiply to positive 36. Okay, so we're now going to use perfect squares. So we are going to say, just download this again. If our number, so if our equation was a perfect square, what would it be? So I'm going to give you something that's not a perfect square. That is not a perfect square. But if it was a perfect square, what number belongs here? 4, right? Because 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 times 2 is 4. Right? So what I've done is I've turned this into a perfect square. But if I add 4 to my equation, I've changed it. So I need to subtract 4 from my equation as well. So this can be rewritten as x plus 2 squared, right? That's my perfect square. And then I'm left with this, which is minus 15. This is called completing the square. So if you are asked to complete the square, this is what you're being asked to do. My grade 11s are using this in some interesting new ways at the moment, and we are assuming that they all remember how to do this. So this is stuff you need to remember if you're taking AS Maths next year. Let's do another one. All right, so if I have x squared plus 8x minus 2. Okay, if this was a perfect square, what would belong there? What two numbers? Not 6, 16. What two numbers add to 8? 4 and 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, right? It's always half this and square it, right? Because half this is the two numbers that are the same. So half this and then square it. But if I add 16, I need to subtract 16. So that's my perfect square. So I now have x plus 4 squared, and this bit here is negative 18. Do you see what I'm doing? So what I'm saying is it's not a perfect square. I want it to be a perfect square, but I have to still balance my equation. If I'm going to add stuff to it, I've got to subtract from it as well. All right. let's do one with a negative. Zoom out a little. So if I have x squared minus 14x plus 3. All right, if this was a perfect square, what number belongs there? What number belongs here? 49, right? Because half of this is -7. Square that is 49. But if I add 49, I have to subtract 49. So what are my two numbers that add to the middle and multiply to the last? What? -7. Be really careful. Damn it, my laptop's about to die. -7. And then this is -46. So again, we're going to use this next year, but you just need to know how to complete the square for now. This is quite tricky. This is one of the things people find the hardest. But this is what we're going to do today. Okay, there's actually one more step that we can keep doing from here. So what I'm going to do now is actually solve these and hope that my laptop doesn't die. Actually, can you do me a favor? Someone, do you know where my desk is?
I do.
Can you run and grab my charger, please? It's on my desk. Thank you. Okay, so if I had this and I wanted to solve it, right? Can I solve this right now? Why not? Right, I don't know what it equals to. There's no equal sign. This is currently unsolvable, but the book is actually going to tell you it equals 0, okay? So what I'm going to do is if I have this, now this is just like an equation that I have to undo. So I've got x plus 4 squared, and I'm going to bring the 18 across as an addition, okay? How do I undo a square? Square root. Now, we need to do something else to this though. The problem with this is, what is 3 squared? What is -3 squared? Get my problem? If you are undoing a square, you have no idea whether the answer used to be positive or negative. So what I'm going to do is take both the positive and the negative square root. Hurry up. My laptop's about to die. I'm not joking. I'm going to lose all of this if you don't give it to me. Thank you. Right. Oh, now I need to unplug things. Not enough plugs. It's 11% and it was dying quickly. My laptop is not doing well today. All right. So what I need, hello, are you going to work? There we go. Okay. So I need to take both the positive and the negative square root. So x is -4. This is becoming a minus, plus or minus the square root of 18. Now, if you are asked to leave your answer in surd form or exact form, that's what this is, right? This is called a surd. Have we talked about surds? The square root of 9 is not a surd because the answer is 3. The square root of 7 is a surd because it's like 2 point something and goes on forever, right? So if you have an actual answer to a square root, then it's not a surd. But like root 11 is 3 point something or other, goes on forever, it's a surd. So if you are asked to leave your answer in exact form, leave it like this. But I think mostly what they're doing is asking you to give decimal answers. So you would just type this into your calculator and you would have 2 answers, right? Just like we did before, one positive, one time you use the plus sign, one time you use the negative sign, and you're going to have 2 different answers. All right, let's do the green one. Same thing. If you're asked to solve this, they'll have to tell you it equals 0. I'm going to bring my 46 across. I'm now going to take both the positive and negative square root of 46, and then I'm going to add 7. So x is 7 plus or minus the square root of 46. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So just like normal equation solving. So you don't need to do this unless they say solve. If they just say complete the square, if they tell you just to complete the square, then this is your answer. If you just have to complete the square, this is your answer. right? This is your answer. But if you're asked to solve it, you need to go through and get x by itself. Does that make sense? All right, so I know this is the hard one, but we'll do some practice and it'll get easier. And then the second bit is using the quadratic formula, which is the easy bit. So we are doing exercise 14.8 and 9 today. Hopefully you did not throw away your timetables because it has both halves of this topic on it.